Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Cryptid Convo, where we talk about all things supernatural. This time, we aren't talking about a specific cryptid per se, but it is the group of supernatural creatures. So today, I will be telling you all about the Fae. Now, there are many names for the Fae, like fairies, fair folk, even many people. I don't really like that name, but for the purposes of this video, I am going to be calling them the Fae. Now, the Fae is a collection of creatures from various cultures, religions, backgrounds that include Celtic, Scottish, English, French, Slavic, and German folklore. So, the Fae is a very large part of European folklore. And many cultures have their own version of the Fae. Literally, like every single culture or religion all across the world has their own creatures. So just keep that in mind, especially if you go off on your own research, because there is so much information, so much. So diving into their myths and stories, there's not really a specific start or origin to the Fae. It's gonna change depending on what culture you look at, even what religion and what area of the world, like the landforms or whatever. In Christian belief, colonize all the kingdoms. They say that the Fae are either demoted angels or demons, which I find that hilarious, because if they were demoted angels, they were just kicked out of heaven and were like, go wander the earth and go make people semi angry. It's hilarious. While in pagan religions and beliefs, they're seen as like minor deities. Um, they're they're seen as like minor deities that include elementals, spirits, the whole basically everything supernatural. Fae can look like a multitude of things, but they're mostly described as looking like tiny humanoids with magical powers, and that is magical with a K because that does matter. And they live for trickery and mischief. So really, if I was just like 2 feet shorter, I'd be a fairy. So there is a long list of the Fae, and I'm gonna tell y'all some of them. I probably won't get all of them because, like I said, there's a lot. So strap in. We've got Alvin, Ashrays, Azrai, Ballybog, Banshee, Brownies, Changeling, Devas, Dryads, Elves, Gurwagd, Anwin, Gwyllian, Heather Pixie, Irish Seawater Guardian, Kelpie, the Lady of the Lake, Merpeople, Nymphs, Pixies, Salamanders, not the animal, Selkie, Urisk, Water Fairies, Will-O-Wisp, Gnomes, Koblunu, Rusika, Brunyep, Sprite, not the drink, Satyr, Kappa, Kitsune, Peri, Mare, Sheed, and so many more. Literally, that's just a very short list. And my ancestors probably hate me for those pronunciations. I'm so sorry. Most people in the ancient times, they didn't like the Fae. Yeah, it wasn't a great time. They would try to use charms to get rid of them. Charms like church bells and four-leaf clover, which is kind of ironic because I thought before I researched this that was supposed to be, oh, attract the fairies with your four-leaf clovers. Apparently not. I was wrong. There's other herbs, spices, even specific woods that are supposed to keep the Fae away if you don't want to mess with them. They also blamed sickness on the Fae because they didn't know much about modern medicine. So here's a part where we dive into even more behind the lore of the creatures. Just a little warning, the inclusion of different creatures under the Fae umbrella term is disputed. Some say that creatures like goblins should be seen as Fae, while others say that the Fae should only be ethereal creatures. For the sake of this video, I'm just gonna keep goblins and all that in the mix and say they're all the Fae. I don't really know. There are also many descriptions over different cultures and religions. So I'll try to get into the main ones, and if you have any other background that you want to share with the world, feel free to comment down below because I absolutely love learning about the supernatural. Kind of the whole reason why I started this. So let's dive into the Christian background. Some believe that the Fae is either demoted angels or demons. Yeah, not many people believe that anymore. They're just like, no, stop it. No one follows that belief anymore. They just kind of pushed it down and pretend like it doesn't exist. Since that was pretty quick, I want to tell you all about the Greek and Roman belief, which is 10 times more fun and 10 times more complicated. And well, I'm trying to simplify. Greek and Roman before we colonized all the kingdoms. I'm sorry, I just reused the same joke like twice. In these cultures, they're seen as like guardian spirits or household spirits that like help people. So, not all fae are bad. I promise. There are penates, genii, and lairs. Again, I probably butchered pronunciation. They were also believed to be minor deities, that the fae are like dryads and nymphs. Some say that the dryads were born from Gaia and the silver race, which in Greek myth is like Zeus was like, oh, I will make humans, and he messed up a couple times. Others say that they're simply the children of trees, or even the children of Hermes, which honestly, with the Greek pantheon, wouldn't surprise me. There's a lot of kids. A lot of kids. Nymphs are a wide variety of female nature spirits that are companions of the god and goddesses, including Dionysus, Hermes, Poseidon, Demeter, and Artemis. Honestly, any god connected with nature stuff was connected to nymphs at some point in time. Since we've glossed over the Roman and Greek beliefs, let's get into what most people think of when they think of the Fae, the Celtic tradition. As a forward, I can't dive into every single myth and specific creature. I'll be going over it briefly, but I highly recommend looking into it for yourself if you want to learn more about any specific background. So, one of the most common beliefs of the Celts is that the Fae are a mythical race that was driven out of their homes. Yeah, it's not great. I guess that would explain why no one really claims to see the Fae anymore. The world's a mess. Just terrible. One of those races were the Tuatha De Danann. I'm so sorry. They and others fled to the other realms. These realms include the Pleasant Plain, Avalon, and the Land of the Youth. Some of you may be familiar with like the name Avalon, especially if you've watched Merlin or Supernatural. It was in that one episode, where Sam doesn't have a soul. Celtic tribes said that they were both mischievous and helpful. They neatly divided them into two groups, which that never does anything bad. The Seelie, the good, and the Unseelie, the not so good. The Seelie were kind-hearted in what they did, while the Unseelie wanted to cause harm to people for their own enjoyment. Psychopathic tendencies. They kidnapped babies and replaced them with changelings, which is basically just a fey child that is put in the place of a normal human child, and people say that they're super ugly. There are many rules to the Fey world that humans should follow, as to not get kidnapped, harmed, or, killed. That wouldn't be great. Never mess with small people, they'll mess you up. I can say that, I'm short. These rules include not accepting their gifts, not eating their food, don't tell them your full name, they'll stalk you. Be polite, don't say sorry, which kind of like counteracts itself, right? Like you want to be polite, but you don't say sorry. That's like kind of weird. And whatever you do, do not step into the fairy circle. They'll make you dance until your feet are bloodied, like the people in France who danced till they died. If you break some of these rules, it is said that you'll be trapped in their world, which is pretty difficult to escape. Time moves a lot differently there, so a few hours could actually be decades. Not fun. Some people do work with the Fae and love them. They leave out offerings like milk, honey, gems, shells, nature-y things. Some people try not to damage anything from nature as much as they can and ask permission before taking something from the wilderness. They do this in fear of getting cursed, guys. It seems like kind of difficult to do in this day and age, but like good on them for appreciating nature, We need to do more of that. Not right now, though. Stay inside. Now, as with everything from history and the lore, the media has ruined it. Like, look at Hades. He didn't deserve the hate that he got. Disney's Hercules. But the Fae aren't going to give you pixie dust and help you fly away to a magical land where you never grow old and you have a grand old time with a man named Peter Pan. I'm sorry. Nah, fam, that's not what the Fae do. You hurt them, they hurt you. Maybe 10 times worse. You might not come out alive. Who knows? Unless you know what you're doing, just don't mess with them. Just leave them be. They're doing fine until we started destroying the world. Okay, mini rant over. Another thing that I want to add into these videos is like other research stuff, because this is terrible research. Don't count on me. I'm sorry. So like some books, documentaries, even some YouTube videos maybe. So yeah. So starting with the book, I'm going to talk about 2 books. By talk about, I mean just tell you the title and stuff, yeah. So there's the Fairy Handbook by Carolyn Turgeon, which tells more about the lore, which is it gets a lot more in depth than what I just told you. It's 10 times better. It tells you projects that you can do and also shows you a lot of artwork, which is great. Respect arts. There's also the Book of Fairy Spells by Sherilyn Darcy, which is a book of 60 spells to help you reach into the fairy world and get a grasp of what it is like. And there's the documentary Fae, The Secret World of Fairies, to the now, yeah. I think it's on Amazon Prime. I also believe that you could get it on YouTube. But it wasn't made that long ago, so I was like actually really surprised when I saw that. I was like, I expected it to be from like the 90s or something, but it wasn't. I believe it was like 2018, maybe something like that. So yeah, check those things out if you want to know more. So on to the segment where I interview my family and get their inputs, which is always exciting. They have such kind words to say. My little brother said that they're ugly, but my mom said that they were cute. So we have some differing thoughts here. See, as soon as I showed a picture to my mom of what I was like actually talking about, she immediately took it back. Her face was total disgust. And I was like, I didn't even show you the bad pictures. That was a decently okay picture. My younger sister said that they were cool because they would fly. I know, she's amazing with words. I think the Fae could be real. If you couldn't tell from this episode and the episode before, check it out. It's about the Mothman. Shameless self-promo. I'm a firm believer in the supernatural. Yeah, I've grown up around people that believe in it, and with ghosts just being a normal thing that we talk about. So, yeah. It also feels like cultural to me because Ireland. But I just think they're neat. So that concludes this episode of Cryptid Convo. If you like the video, make sure to subscribe down below and also comment what cryptid or other creature you want to see next, and I'll make sure to look into it. Stay spooky, guys, and peace out.